Okay, so I'm starting over. Because I was talking and it wasn't recording for a good while. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is it actually is easier than you think to get a psychiatric service dog. Train your dog as a psychiatric service dog. And I'm going to leave you all the links that you need to do it right. I want to say that in mind, when you Google about certification or getting a service dog and all this, the first 2 or 3 pages are going to be from companies that want you to buy their kits of service dog harnesses, and a card that you pass out to people, and an ID thing that you put on the dog, and all this other stuff. And that's not necessary. Your dog doesn't need any identification. It just that when you go in somewhere, is that a service dog? Yes. According to the American Disabilities Act, ADA, you don't need proof. They can ask a couple questions. Is that a service dog for a disability you have? Yes. They can't ask what your disability is. What tasks does that dog perform for you for your disability? So those are the 2 things they can ask. If you want to say psychiatric service dog, that's all up to you. But if you don't want anybody in your business, they fall under the medical alert dog, and people are more accepting of that, because as soon as you say psychiatric service dog, people are automatically going to say emotional support animal. It's for anxiety. It's not a service dog. It can't be there. So that's why I have learned in my experience that I have encountered people that I say he's a medical alert dog. And people leave it at that. I tried the psychiatric service dog, and people assume the difference is the service dog is trained to do things to help you with your disability that you could not do yourself. And an emotional support animal is just a companion that, like your doctor has said, you need to have. Emotional support animals do not have public access there. They can go certain places, like on airplanes and stuff, but they can't go into the store. They can't go into Walmart. Just service dogs. And so I'm going to leave links to the places. It's hard to find them. And amongst all that BS that's trying to sell you stuff and tell you that all you have to do is put this harness on and you have yourself a service dog. So I can give that to you. And as long as I can, I don't have a lot of I have subscribers, but I don't have probably many active subscribers. So people who are watching my videos, I would be more than happy to mail them the if you want to train your dog basic obedience, because that's where it starts, I would not mind sending you the handbook that I have put together using positive, and I have experience. I'm not just someone out there thinking they can train dogs. I've been doing it. Um, the positive reinforcement type, I would be gladly mail that out to people if they were interested on training their dog at home, or if you have any questions. Yeah, okay, so the steps are basic obedience, sit down, stay, heel, come, basically. Reliably, and leave it. That's big, because Finn's still working on that. There's a storm outside, by the way. And then the second step is passing the Canine Good Citizen Certificate, getting your certificate for that, and that's through the AKC. And that basically says that your dog is safe to be in public. It's very popular now. It's getting more and more popular. Some, like apartment buildings, will require your dog to pass that before you can have them in the building. And it's not anything tricky. It's just, what does the dog do when a stranger comes up and pets it or grooms it? What happens when you leave the room for a few minutes? What's its response when somebody else with another dog walks up? And I have the site where there is a list, and you can work on that. And they have a list of people that are evaluators. They may even allow like a video to be sent to them. You can watch on YouTube and see Canine Good Citizen evaluations, and you'll see how simple they really are. Finnegan has his Canine Good Citizen Certificate, and he is working on his public access, and that's the last step. That is just like one step beyond. It's just a few more things. Like he has to learn how to, he does it at home. Lay underneath the table or the seat at a restaurant and not solicit food, or if food's dropped, go for it. We're working on that part. And some other things, like they want to see him go in and out of a building to see if they hesitate. They can't sniff the merchandise, which he has lately developed a strange behavior of sniffing only women, their pant legs. And it just started this past week or so. It's really strange. But like if we go up to the register and there's candy and stuff, he sniffs the candy bars. So there is those two things that he needs to work on to finish this public access test. And it tells you, their site tells you exactly how many hours they need training, how many outings, how long in a 6 to whatever month period. Very specific, very easy. You just, I'll put a link to it. And then I wanted to say about what your dog wears. Like I said, it doesn't have to wear anything. It can. Finnegan wears a collar that says service dog, and there's a little leash that says service dog, do not pet, that matches, and it's really cute. He used to have the traditional. He has a black one, but his colors are blue and green, so um, he wore this one. And you see, they come with, this is like what you get from one of those kits or something. It's got some Velcro, and the Velcro are for these things in training. So if he's in training, he can still go into, your dog can still go into the store. Um, as long as it's not disruptive. He's passed his obedience class. And so it says service dog in training. And then if they're not in training anymore, they send you a couple of these. So then you can take this off and put service dog on both sides. I found that boring. And I just saw something on YouTube videos that some other people have. That if you go to Etsy, there's people that make custom vests, and so this is the one that Finn wears now. I wish he were a bigger dog because then I could put more stuff on here. But you can really make it your own. His is made, you can have it made out of different material. This looks like a dragon scale to me. And these are all Velcro, lots of Velcro on this one. Service dog, do not pet, undercover, animagus. Invisibility cloak out of order. Please ignore. They don't pay attention to that. People are always oohing and cooing at him, especially older people, older men and women, like to at him. But he's really good because he doesn't respond to it. I am her Patronus, and I'm a little bit of a Trekkie, so damn it, Jim, I'm a service dog, not a petting zoo. So these all Velcro off. They have pockets. And in this one I have a bag of drugs, the legal kind. In here is my daytime lithium dose, because a lot of times I'm out and about. And there's also some Xanax in there for emergencies. An emergency would be like a storm coming through and I'm driving. Or not when I'm driving. I don't take Xanax when I'm driving. I pull over. I have some other patches that aren't on him. I want to get this one on him somehow, but I don't have room. Not all disabilities are visible. Emergency info and medication inside. I don't know what that was. I know I'm cute, but I'm working. Do not distract. Dragon in training. And they can come as iron-on, sew-on, or Velcro. But you can always buy Velcro that will stick on there. And you can make it Velcro. So, here's another one. Oh, yeah. I thought he was a Ravenclaw at first, but he's Slytherin. And a Game of Thrones head. And if it's hot and we're in a casual setting, sometimes he'll just wear this because I live where it gets really hot and humid. So it's just like a little hanky on a collar. Now, He is one dog without the harness. Um, he's your typical barking at the mailman, barking at the neighbor, being goofy. You put the vest on, and he turns into a different dog. He becomes very serious, and um, that's his job. Some people have tried to get him purposely to prove that he wasn't a service dog. This one guy tried to get him to come to him, and Finn was just sitting there looking at this guy like he was nuts. So, um, I'm almost to where I left off on my last one. Hold on. Okay. My voice is giving out, so I put this on hoping you'd be able to hear me better. I just, yes, my hair is pink. I like it. What I don't like, do you see that? That's from Depakote. Way back in the 2000s, I was on Depakote, and it gave me this weird acne, um, which resolved, but it discolored my skin, and I have a little bit here, and now I'm getting it here. But anytime I'm in the sun, it gets worse, and it's just been like really bad. It looks awful, and I tried parting my hair to the other side for a while, but I just don't feel like the same person. It just doesn't feel right. So what am I gonna do? I bought stuff to put on it, but I'm not vain enough to pay that stuff's expensive. I'm not vain enough to pay that much, but it's kind of going down my face now. There's a name for it. I forgot what it was. Depakote also made my hair fall out and come back in wavy. It was straight. Depakote sucked. Um, what kind of dog, someone had asked. Breeds. People go for the labs and the retrievers, golden retrievers, but I'm going to tell you something. It's not the breed. It's the temperament, the personality, yeah. Um, um, ooh, thunder. Um, these, some of the more expensive dogs, they'll have a litter of puppies that are intended to go to, say, to lead the blind or whatever. And only so many of, they will only pick the puppies that they see certain behaviors and personality types, and the others go as pets. And as these puppies train, most of them fail and they go out as pets. It's a very small number that those places that train dogs, and then you get the dog all trained and it costs thousands and thousands of dollars. Only a small amount of those puppies made it. So you have to consider that. So I do not recommend picking the breed first. I recommend picking the dog first. I recommend going to an animal shelter, your local swap shop, places like that. Look for your 1, 2, and 3-year-olds. You want a dog that's calm, but not lazy, friendly, but not like jumping on you and licking your face. Their feet are on the floor. They come up when invited and they're very relaxed. Their tail's doing a sweeping kind of wag. That's always the best wag. um, and their head is up high, but their chest isn't out. You want this dog to be your partner, not your leader, not your protector, because that's a whole different personality if you want someone to protect you. Not that your service dog wouldn't protect you, but it's a whole different thing. And you'll see it in their eyes. They'll give you eye contact. Be calm, be loose. 4 feet on the floor. Playful when you initiate play, when play's over. That might be harder for a 1-year-old. 2-year-old's probably ideal. I recommend visiting the dog a few times. I recommend having making sure the if you're going through a shelter, make sure they do behavior assessments and that they are being forthright about any pertinent issues they may have identified on those assessments, because some dogs are just perfect when you're right there thinking, looking at them, and then you find out they have food aggression and they're going to bite your hand off, and that dog can't be a service dog. So ask a lot of questions. What would cancel a dog out is fear of storms, fear of car rides, like an exaggerated startle to loud noise. They can startle, but they have to regain their composure. Can't tolerate touch. Now, I mean, a little bit might be okay, but the dog really needs to be okay with being handled, like go to a groomer and the groomer can do all they need to do kind of thing. I recommend, if you don't have a lot of money, I recommend a short-haired. Now, that doesn't mean they don't shed. I have a short-haired dog that is the worst shedder that we've ever had. He has a lot of fur, and anyway, when you get towards the little dogs, a lot of the little dogs, Shih Tzus, Yorkies, anything that has hair rather than fur needs to be groomed. And people say, oh, I can get by just combing them out every day. No, they got to go to a groomer regularly for them to really have a healthy coat. And I don't recommend very large breeds because their lifespan's short. And they tend to have, this is another If you need them for any sort of mobility or walking around, hip dysplasia or hip issues, that's, I would say forget that. That probably isn't a good fit, and you have to be patient. You can't be impulsive. You can't be in a hurry. Um, um, you might want to ask, even like if you have a Petco or a PetSmart, or something like that, maybe at the shelter someone would be willing to accompany you if it's nearby in Orchlands, um, to take the dog there to see how it does in a store would be a good test. Um, See how it does with other dogs. Um, it's tricky if you have other dogs and you want one dog to be a service dog, because dogs understand iniquity, which means if you're treating as a reward because you're training one dog, the other dogs are going to understand that they're not getting it. And I guess like their feelings get hurt. And I have experienced that with Finnegan. And actually, the other two dogs have kind of figured out what he's doing to get treats. And now sometimes when my medication time comes around, I have 3 dogs alerting. And but like, I have to take him out on walks him by himself because he behaves better, and I can train him better alone. And the other dogs see that and, feel that he's getting preferential treatment, and they feel sad, especially my one dog. And I feel really bad, but um, that's just how it's gotta be. So, I mean, unless you can figure out a way to be training more than one dog at a time, it's gonna have to be that way. Um, and I think I like medium-sized dogs. If you're in a chair, like a power chair or something, a lot of people get little dogs that can be in their lap and jump off their lap and go do something and jump back in their lap. Um, I I remember hearing that they use Papillons a lot for people that have hearing impairment or something like that, because they're very yappy. I, you have to also, if you go look at a dog, is it barking while the other dogs are barking? And especially little yappy dogs, if you live in an apartment, your neighbors are not going to appreciate a dachshund. Yeah. Sometimes Yorkies, pretty much all the little dogs can be yappy. Um, I mean, it's okay for them to bark at the mailman and stop when he leaves, you know, but constant yapper is definitely not going to be tolerated if you have apartment neighbors. But I think a psychiatric service dog could be any size. Because if it's small, you can signal for it to come up to you for deep pressure therapy and things like that. Finnegan is a medium-sized dog. He's about 30 pounds, between 30 and 35. He's part Shih Tzu, but He's a lot bigger than a Shih Tzu. And he's not perfect. And so, say you, the, the common things that people have, their psychiatric service dogs do, um, common things are get your attention when you are signaling, when you have their certain behaviors you do when you're stressed out, upset. Like, for example, mine is like going like this or crying, and Finnegan will pull my, like, paw at my arms to pull them away. And that's really just to get you to pay attention to the dog and get you out of whatever you're having. I know some people have been able to get their dogs to alert to heavy breathing, like when you're having a panic attack, rapid breathing when you're having a panic attack, and self-harm, like scratching, digging. I've seen deep pressure therapy is usually when you're laying down, but really all the dog does is has a command or knows to lay across your body, because it is known that pressure on the upper torso of humans, cats, and dogs relieves anxiety. They can alert to time to take medicine, which is what of the main things that Finnegan does for me. They can clear a room or walk down a dark hallway, and Finnegan definitely does that to me every night. I say, "You go," and I point, and he goes down that hallway, and then I don't feel anxious because that hallway's dark. And he can open the door. You go in first. A lot of people with PTSD like that. Also, blocking. And Finn does this naturally sometimes. If he doesn't like somebody, he'll sit between me and that other person and sit in front of me. And that's another PTSD common thing they perform. Also, another thing for PTSD is they'll circle to kind of keep people out of their bubble, not get too close. That's all I can think of off the top of my head right now. Let's just say I was feeling really good for a good while, and got a lot done. And then I had well, maybe I'll talk about this part. No, I'll talk about this one now. I'm going to talk about something else later. And I had these 4 days, and I can't decide if it's the worst part about my bipolar disorder or not. I've had it for longer periods than I did. This was just 4 days, I'd say. But I've had like weeks of this where it's like you're not sad or lonely or angry or you're not anything. You're just completely blank. No motivation to do anything. It's not a depression thing like, oh, why bother? Doesn't matter. That's depression. This is just like empty. Completely like no desire, no enjoyment. I don't feel it's like boring. I do feel the sensation of being bored, but I have low energy because nothing is sparking in my brain to do anything like, oh, hey, there's an idea, or hey, why don't you work on that project, or um, it's a anhedonia, the lack of the inability to feel pleasure. But really, I feel just like nothing, just completely empty, except for boredom. And I'm just like, God, I can't wait for this to be over. But I've had it worse. It was like so bad that I'd just be like staring at a wall and not realizing how long I'd been staring at that wall. It was like a time warp or something. It's really frustrating because there's no momentum. At least in my other mood states, there's momentum, whether it be negative or positive. I can at least do something creative during it, you know? But I was like, no ideas. I was wondering what part of the brain that is in. Because then I was doing something with crayons. And I suddenly became aware of the fact that I enjoyed the smell of crayons. And I was like, wow, I haven't felt enjoyment for several days. I guess I'm feeling better. And, and then and then I just turned around and went into irritability. I'm like, sucks. So I'm beginning to feel like maybe that blank empty is the worst because you're just like waiting to get out of it. Just hurry up and get it over with. Um, you know, with the irritability, I can at least expend some of that out and take medication to bring me down. And mania, I can do the same thing. I can be creative with hypomania, mania, and help relieve some of that tension by doing something creative. But with that blank stare, no motivation, no thoughts, no nothing, is a miserable place to be. So I am going to sometime, I think today, do a live and need to talk about body image. Yeah. Okay. So that's all I have about dog stuff right now. Like I said, I'll put the links on. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're interested in teaching your dog from home. I can send you um, my handbook. Um, Also, I've been doing a TikTok thing. I'm going to put that in here too, the link or the name anyway, if you want to. It's bipolar based, so it's like these just 60 seconds worth at a time. And I put some creativity in there, and it's fun. I think it takes me longer than other people to pull 60 seconds worth of stuff out of my butt and get it organized. But I like the results. I'm not like super popular or anything, but I like doing it. I have my own thing, it's different. So if you go and check that out if you ever want to. All right, so I have to go to the store now. I have to go out in the rain. Bye.